Hello and welcome to the Good Buddies Anime Review. I am your good buddy Brandon.
And I am your good buddy Roger.
And we are here this week. We are talking about a slightly older show. Normally we go with stuff that's pretty contemporary, pretty recent. Taking it back a little bit. Back to the far off distant year of, 2012, 2013? Something like that. We are breaking down WataMote, which I think I'm saying right. It's definitely not WataMote.
Yeah, no matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault that I'm not popular.
That's very discouraging of yourself, sir. I think you're pretty popular.
Thanks, man.
Oh, no, that is the subtitle for the show.
Yeah.
WataMote, no matter how I look at it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what we're going to do here is break this on down, and we're going to end it off by giving y'all a sort of a rating of recommendation.
Yes.
Let's make sure that we remember that. It's not necessarily just did we like it, did we not like it. It's would we recommend it to someone. Would we recommend it to you, our listeners and fellow good buddies.
How hardly we would recommend it.
Yeah, so let's break it on up, break it down and break it up, Roger. If it was...
Break it down, break it up.
If it was just shit.
If it was just the worst.
If it was the worst thing.
That's an anime, maybe not.
But what if it was, it's not great, but I mean, it's not the worst.
Anime.
What if it was like, middle of the road, pretty average?
Anime, maybe.
What if it was, pretty decent, Roger? You like this
that's an anime, most definitely.
But what if it was amazing, damn near perfect?
Shoot, dude, that's amazing.
Pretty great.
Recommended enough.
And the way we're going to get there, Roger, is we're going to give it a rating out of 10 stars with 5 different categories, 2 stars each. That first category, Roger, is...
the story and setting.
Second category, Roger.
The characters and development.
Third category, Roger.
The art and animation.
Roger. Fourth category.
The soundtrack.
And the fifth category, Roger.
That je ne sais quoi.
That good buddies wiggle room. Roger, what does that mean?
I don't know what.
I don't know what. But let's get on into it. I feel like we fucking streamlined it.
Yeah, man, we blasted through that. Any of the good buddies that watched any of our prior reviews, they were like,
sorry.
damn.
Yeah, we kind of nailed it on that one, and now I've ruined it by talking about it. But let's get on into it, man. Roger.
Yeah.
Give me the breakdown. Tell me about this here WataMote.
Okay. Let me tell you about the WataMote here. The WataMote. It follows a character, mainly just one character, really. Tomoko Kuroki. She is very awkward.
Extremely so.
She has a lot of issues with anxiety, and she's lonely, and it sets in her first year of high school, and it goes forth with the motions of her going through that first year and her summer break and the different scenarios that she gets herself in with her anxiety.
And she is a very to the point that she probably just has a straight up disorder. She is extremely anxious, very difficult to talk to anyone. Has gone in that first episode, apparently the first 3 or so months of her school year without talking to anybody. Yeah. To the point that as she's leaving on that first day, the teacher at the front gate is like, "Hey, have a nice day." And she goes,
yeah.
It just freaks.
She freezes. She's very skittish.
She just locks up, dude.
Yeah.
Ouch.
She tries her best, and then she bolts if she, most of the time, if it doesn't go her way, which generally in this anime it does not.
It pretty much never does, I would say.
And it goes through. She schemes. She's in her own head a whole lot, and she schemes up ways to maybe become a little more popular.
Yeah, man.
To kind of ease that feeling of loneliness and everything that she feels. But she's also a little bit, her character is a little bit of a creep.
Yeah, a little bit. She loves those, what are they, Omatome or whatever they're called games. The
borderline boy love games.
Yeah, it's the dating sim games where you're playing as a girl.
But she did get a boys love game at one point.
Holy moly, I think it's like in episode 2 where she's playing the game, or is it episode 1?
It's episode 1 where the dude starts jizzing on her DS.
Yeah, she's playing DS, and she's giving this dude a back rub, and he's like, and it's all kind of robotic sounding, and he's like, coming, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
What is this? It's a little raunchy, yo.
Yeah, it's
a little raunchy.
I think it pipes a little extra in there whenever it goes to those points, but but that's a very side point to the anime, I think. But yeah, that's the story and the setting. I mean, she's in her hometown. It follows in through her first semester of high school, then summer break, and then her second semester of high school.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's all we got there. So next we have the characters and development of these characters.
Indeed, and especially for the first several episodes, is almost just only seriously no one else but our girl Tomoko.
Yeah, Tomoko, and then the next most you get in those first few is Tomoki.
Which is her younger brother.
Yes.
Who,
man, they really didn't get too creative with that name, did they?
Not really, no.
I didn't even think about it until just
Roger,
now.
Let's not judge, because my name is Brandon, and I have an older sister named Brandy. Like, I don't need you talking that shit.
And then we get another character a little later on. She actually does have a friend. The anime at the very
As
beginning,
it turns out,
yeah, leads you to believe like she has never had a damn friend in her whole life.
No, yeah, she does say like that at the end of that first episode. I think she says, hey, I think I'm gonna try to call up my friend from middle school.
Yeah,
who was you?
Yeah, and this is who I'm referring to. You Naruse.
Yeah, and she's just a little sweetheart.
Yep, and then you got her mother. You get her mother. She's the next most character.
Dad shows up in what was one of the few parts of this show that I really laughed out loud.
Yeah, with the massager.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous. Yeah, Dad shows up for like a panel.
Face with the he's that just Pikachu mouth, dude.
Yeah, you do the Pikachu mouth. It's shock, the open mouth Pikachu.
Yeah,
okay.
But most of the show really revolves around Tomoko, and she gets almost all development, other than a little bit more to Tomoki.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a little bit of development here.
And there are some other characters that show up later that have slightly, bigger bits in them, but for the most part, it's just your girl and occasionally her brother.
Yep. And as far as the development goes, I mean,
we should point out that like when we say it's just about her, it is about her, and like pretty much all the dialogue is just her in her own head.
Yeah, in her head. So most of the development,
which, again,
it's hard to like describe it because most of the development is right there in her.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, again, which is not too surprising when you think about the fact that this person is apparently, being portrayed as having this very serious social anxiety disorder and whatnot. So it makes sense that almost all the interactions that happen in this are like literally for those first several episodes, you see her sitting at her desk in class. You will see maybe these other nameless faceless characters around her talking. Eventually you get a couple names for them. Yeah. But then everything else is just her in her own head talking, thinking, scheming
trying to find a way to make herself more prominent, more noticeable. If that, I mean, she's a very lonely character. I think that's the biggest thing is she's extremely lonely. And this anime comes off as maybe like it's a bit more comedic than it actually is.
Yeah, that's one thing that, I mean, for me though,
I think some of it is intentionally supposed to be funny.
I feel like that too. I like I said, there's I can think of one or two parts that really made me laugh, but for the most part, I was watching this just. We're gonna have to talk. The Je ne sais quoi is gonna be my whole review.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that's where most of the review is gonna be for me too.
Yeah, let's save that.
Okay, we'll get into that discussion.
Let's talk about that art and animation, bud.
Hexagons, dude. Hexagons everywhere. Pentagons.
What?
Geometry all over the place. Did you not notice it?
Are you
every bit of lighting in there?
Yeah.
There's just shapes around it.
They kind of do the if you've ever just take a picture of the sun and then put it in Photoshop and just bring down the pixel count or whatever. Just really simplified a few times and you'll just get, it's like those light halos around something, but they're just shapes.
Yeah. Yes, they're octagons, hexagons, pentagons, stuff like that.
It's pretty interesting. As far as the actual character designs, they're fairly simple. I will say that our girl Tomoko, she is designed to be kind of at first glance she may appear to oh, that's a typical cutesy girl, but she's got these dark bags under her eyes. She just doesn't sleep. She never really smiles. She has these giant eyes to the point that they're a little bit creepy.
Yeah. And she doesn't, a lot of characters like that, they are kind of ditzy.
Yeah.
But she's not ditzy from being dumb or anything like that.
She's ditzy from just having no social experience at all.
Yes.
I will say a couple things I really liked about the art and animation is there's several bits where the biggest one I can think of is there's a bit where she's walking in the rain and she's just walking with her umbrella and a big gust of wind comes and it cuts and then you just see a kanji for her and then a kanji that's next to it for the umbrella. And then a kanji for wind blows in and knocks the umbrella away and it breaks into a bunch of pieces. And then it cuts back to her in the drawing and she's just standing there without her umbrella.
Yeah.
It's a goofy little thing they do that you could say, oh, that's really quirky and cute. You could also say save it on animation, but I really enjoyed that. I thought it was cute.
Yeah. So I think we are on art and animation right now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So okay, now I get what you're saying. I thought you were saying save it for animation, like we were a category above. Now I got what you're saying. No. Okay. Another thing that I want to bring out on the art and animation is its callbacks to other anime and stuff like that.
Yeah, there are a lot of those.
And it does them really well, and it's a pretty cool touch. It is a pretty cool touch.
They have a lot of fun moments, yeah.
You see K-On!, you see Neon Genesis.
One could argue a Yu-Gi-Oh! At one point.
Yes, a Yu-Gi-Oh! With Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
But she was Yu-Gi-Moto and some kids.
Yeah. I remember him cheating, but... another thing I really enjoyed, like, in addition to that stuff, is there's these bits where when something particularly embarrassing happens, that it will just be her, like, sitting there freaked out, and then it'll like de-res and go into like these weird like cubist versions of that frame where like
Picasso's.
She gets all Picasso'd and cubed out, and it's really cool the way they do that.
Yeah, they do a lot of like, for a kind of a simplistic show, they do a lot of stuff with the animation to kind of spice it up, and I think they do a good job with it.
I was pretty into that.
And I will say, and we'll let this segue into the soundtrack, but the intro and the outros are all really well done too.
I really visually
they're really well done, and
I did enjoy the visualisms.
And then the music. Let's get into that now.
How do you feel about soundtrack?
I thought that there were a lot of really great piano pieces in the background.
I did like the piano pieces in the background.
I thought, anytime they managed to catch a mood really well in there for me. I thought like it felt like they worked the background music around the mood of what was ever happening, which is kind of it's expected to do, but they just do it so well that it feels that way. It's just one of those things that feels that way. The opening song I freaking loved.
It was okay.
I loved it, dude.
I couldn't get into it. It felt a little too like 2009 Screamo for me.
It was 2013.
I wasn't as into the intro. It was fine.
I liked it.
The
outro was okay.
Outro was okay too.
Yeah, that was the okay one to me.
Yeah,
but there were a couple different outros.
It just felt a little too day to remember to me. Felt a little too.
I don't know any of that stuff, dude.
I mean, listen, I've been to a Devil Wears Prada fucking concert, and that was fine.
I would not admit that.
Well, it was with a bunch of our friends who we don't hang out with anymore.
The lowest I went to Warped Tour one year.
I mean, technically it was an Under Oath concert. They were just there.
Okay, well, that's a little better.
Yeah.
Dallas Taylor used to be in Under Oath, and he's great. But this is not the Under Oath podcast. This is a Good Buddies anime review.
We're doing this again.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing about it. It just felt like a lot of like that kind of Screamo stuff that I'm not as into anymore.
Yeah, I didn't really work. I thought it was really melodic, and usually in anime I like it more than I do in real life.
Yeah, sure.
Like if it's put to an opening, I am more into it, especially with the cool visuals flashing in the first one. Oh, and it has that very Ghost in a Shell feel to it as well. And they even flash back to that in one of those things I was mentioning earlier. You see her as a Major Kusanagi.
Yeah.
Thought that was pretty cool, but
it's fine.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes here, because I know we both have probably differing opinions on this for the Je ne sais quoi.
Do you want to go first, or because I'm gonna go off?
Okay, I'll go first. I think that I kind of like the way that they did this, because though it is over the top, and I cannot say that it is not exaggerated, but these are, there are somewhat believable situations.
Sure.
And the feeling that they convey, that way that you feel, is how you really feel with this shit.
Sure.
Because I have lived my whole life. I'm not gonna get up on the my problems or my mental issues or anything like that. I'm a pretty stable person, but I do have severe anxiety. I'm always shaking.
He's like a little chihuahua.
Yeah,
my sweet baby boy.
It's just like seeing the way that she tries to sputter words out. How many times I've been there before?
Sure.
Like all the words are right in my head, and they come out and they're all damn wrong.
Yeah.
And then you have the feeling in that conversation where you've said a bunch of things wrong.
Right.
And you're like, well, did they notice it? And now you've paused trying to wonder if they notice it. And then there's an awkward pause there, and then you don't know what to do. You're so far into this situation that it incites a panic. And it's very hard to deal with. And I think though the show was a bit brutal with it, I think that the brutal nature of it kind of brought forth how like, shit, this sucks, and a lot of the spots I could see people laughing at.
Yeah.
And I didn't laugh at them for that part on the show. I laughed at them time to time because I'm like, oh shit, I remember a time that I did that same damn shit.
Yeah. It's relatable.
Yeah, it's extremely relatable, especially if you've ever dealt with anxiety or even depression, or you felt lonely. Like high school, like my freshman year, whenever I was in high school in my freshman year, I will say this, I missed, and it's because it's her freshman year, I missed over half the days.
Really?
Yeah, to school. I did not go to school for over half the days. My parents, they were trying to file like truancy on them, but I didn't want to go to school. I thought of any reason that I could, anything that I could be sick. I could be sick or anything, just because I didn't want to deal with that day. I didn't want to deal with these people. I didn't want to deal with a bunch of people that I thought differently than everybody else, I think, to an extent. I went to a very country, backward school. Yeah. And it was hard for me to relate to other people and stuff like that. So it made it hard, and I got better with it in life.
Yeah.
And now, I'm good at retail and stuff like that, which is kind of shocking as to how I was as a kid. I'm a lot less reserved than I was then, but I still remember the feelings all very well, and I still have some of the problems.
Yeah,
so
man.
It made it all. The brutal nature of it kind of made it more relatable to me, but they are a little vicious to this character.
Sure.
But I think that's about what I say. I quite enjoyed it for what it was. I probably wouldn't watch it again anytime soon, though I did not regret watching it. I quite enjoyed it, and I thought it was a fun little trip into some hard memories here and there. But there were a couple of good laughs too. It was very fun. I liked it.
My sweet baby boy.
I thought it was written kind of cool. I thought it was a cool approach at the very least. But it's your time to go off, dude.
Buddy, this was a real hard watch for me.
Yeah, I know, dude. You don't handle that cringe factor well,
dude. And like, that's the thing is like, it is easy, I think, to look at. So if you haven't been here for previous episodes, I will reiterate what I've said before. I get that vicarious, that secondhand embarrassment like that.
And these are some embarrassing situations.
It's the entire reason that I have I have not once sat through a full episode of The Office, because I see Steve Carell fucking up and I just go, ugh, and I change the channel.
I will say that in Tomoko's case, as opposed to Steve Carell's case in The Office, he's just an idiot.
Right. But see, that's the thing is like, it was just very hard for me to watch.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And it's not that I couldn't relate to it. I don't feel like I had as much a connection to this character as you did, maybe. But it wasn't like I couldn't relate. I definitely could relate to some of these things. But specifically, there was a lot of moments that it just... I think what I said to you in one message, a text message about it, was it feels like this show just hates its main character.
It does at times.
It really feels like the show is just pounding down on this girl like, holy mo. And the thing is, like, it's not fully undeserved because she's not a great person.
Yeah. She's in her head a lot, like we said, and she thinks that other people are stupid all the time.
She does.
She has horrible thoughts.
It kind of plays on that. Go ahead.
But you do. I do that myself, dude. I have to catch myself because I get to points where I think I can know people just by looking at them.
Well, yeah.
And I have to take it back. And I get in my head. Now, nothing I do as extreme as her.
Sure. But like specifically, it kind of feels like it's playing off of that thing where I feel like we've all seen like a show that does this at least once, where there's like somebody who's sitting there, maybe they're shy, maybe they're quiet, and like someone else tries to talk to them and then they don't talk back and they're like, oh, she's being all quiet, she thinks she's better than us. And like, that's kind of like, haha, no, she doesn't really, she's just shy. She really does though.
Yeah.
This girl really does think she's better than you. There's a bit where like she's talking about like, oh, those other nameless faceless kids, they're gonna go do karaoke again. That's all they do. These fucking kids, they don't even do anything. Just wasting their time with that. There's a bit where like there's the girl who's the manager for the baseball team, and she's like thinking in her head, man, she's probably a freaking slut taking care of all these boys in the locker room. It's like, whoa,
slut. My slut friend, you.
Oh, here's one for you. Did you watch dub or sub?
I tried both. I checked the audio on both.
Okay.
And I will say that I think the sub is a little bit better.
Yeah, I only watched the sub.
Because Monica Ryle, why I like her as a voice actor, she like she overdoes it. She way oversells.
Well,
it.
I mean, and she definitely does like even in the subtitle, like she's definitely doing the like nervous noises. But I don't have
it's oversold in the English though. Though I don't think that dub is particularly bad or anything.
I got you. But yeah, for me, man, je ne sais quoi wise, Good Buddies Wiggle Room. I can think of 2 solid moments when I really laughed. One was the moment with the dad, and like when she got her game or something, and he walks into her room and finds her there. The other one is one where, and this isn't really a spoiler, so I'll just say this scene. She drank her brother's sports drink.
Yeah.
She goes to his room later with a Cola, which is a Coca-Cola, but it says Cola, and holds it out to him like, "Hey, this is to make up for that." And he doesn't take it. And then she just pops the top, and it just fizzes over in her hand and just drips onto the carpet. And he's just sitting there like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He's the most relatable character in the show to me.
That's what whenever you were talking about it a little bit, I was like, most of the times that I laughed were interactions, like I actually laughed, were interactions at home or with her brother. Because she was way more comfortable in those situations, and I felt like that was where the comic relief was. Man. Whereas I could see people laughing at her just because it's an awkward situation.
Yeah.
But that it's actually not as funny as you would think it is.
It's most of the time, like another message I sent you, particularly, and this is where I have to admit, no, I didn't watch the whole thing. I got through episode 8.
Yeah, I finished it all.
I got through episode 8, and there was at one point in episode 8 that I texted you about. I thing happened. I had to pause it, get up and leave my room, and go get me a chocolate milk. And the whole time I was doing it, I was just going, fuck you, this fucking show. Oh, fuck you. Oh my God, fuck you. Like, it was so, it hurt me to watch this.
Yeah.
There were parts of it was just so... It was unrelentless.
Yeah, I wish you would have got to 11 because I really did like that episode.
Now that's the thing. I only watched up to 8. I did read the summaries for 9 through 12, and as I read, there's some other there's another character introduced. Shit gets pretty happy toward those last couple. But if I gotta go through that many episodes to get
it's not even that happy. It's
bit
like
of catharsis. Even a little bit.
It was one moment of kindness, dude. She gets one moment of kindness.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Though it is kind of like, you're like, that was a sweet moment.
Yeah.
Because she gets that one moment of kindness. And you do say that, like when you said that the anime hates its main character.
I really feel like it
does. I feel like the anime is kind of like, dealing with these kind of issues and stuff. The anime is kind of like the actual world around you. Because you feel like, you're like, fuck, man, I can't catch a break for anything.
Yeah.
I can't catch a fucking break.
No, I get that.
But... I mean, that is that argument of fantasy world versus real world too. So,
and that's the other thing.
And who knows? Like, I don't know these people personally, so I can't ask them some of the questions that I would like to from this anime. But
yeah, and that was the other thing is like the whole time I was doing that, and like I kept having to pause and walk away for a bit. It was again very hard for me to get through it. I remember thinking, it's not just me, is it? And so I did some Googling, and it's not just me. There's a lot of folks
I'm sure.
talking about on Reddit how, again, episode 8 had to constantly pause it and just be like, oh my God. There was, I did a search for WataMote
I think 8
Twitter.
was the roughest one.
That was
the one that I even said, I was like, I can't really relate to that one.
It was tough.
Because I never had a real problem with lying.
There was I did a search for WataMote on Twitter, and there were people who were watching it recently and tagged it or whatever, and every other comment was like, oh, this is hard to watch. Oh, this is just sad. Like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Famously, perhaps infamously, there is one review from Kotaku.
Okay.
That I didn't read the whole thing, but the headline of it was called WataMote, perhaps the most mean-spirited anime it had ever seen. And I can't fully disagree with it because, I read a couple paragraphs, and the whole conceit of it was, if I'm to believe that this is a show about someone with an anxiety disorder, and the humor of it is from her having these situations where she is being told off by a teacher, unable to properly order a cheeseburger, that kind of stuff, because she can't talk, or she's so anxious she can't even form the words.
She's skittish. Yeah,
I'm supposed to laugh at that.
Yeah, I don't think
it's kind of hard.
I don't think you're supposed to.
Well, that's the thing though. A lot of folks, like I said, hang on. Every other comment was, "This is hard to watch. This is so sad." Those first other ones, were how fucking hilarious it is.
Okay.
And I can't get with that.
Yeah. So some people are just, but there are real people all over this world that just laugh at somebody to laugh at them.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Those are called bad people.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, this anime lends itself out there to, like, it gives you a point to see, like, this person's kind of a jerk.
I get what you're saying.
If you can't come across what they're trying to do, and I mean, life is fucking pain, dude.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but overall, like, I thought it was a fun watch. I thought it was an interesting watch.
I couldn't call it fun.
Maybe that's what I want to say. Yeah. It's interesting. I did have fun, going back with like, oh yeah, I know how that fucking feels.
I'm just saying, man, I can't tell you how many times like I was watching and like I was like, oh boy, and like paused it and then then saw like the little ticker was only like a quarter way through. I'm like, fuck you, really? Really? I got like 3
Dude,
more quarters of this?
Do feel long.
They feel very long. I felt every second of them, man. It was hard to watch.
All right, dude.
And I'm not saying it's bad. We'll get to the scores right now, but I think
that it's fair to say that it's hard to watch because I mean it is, and like I don't know, it's not as funny as I think some people think that it is.
Yeah. Are you ready to hit them scores?
Yeah, let's hit them scores, big guy.
Let's hit them scores. So what do you think about the story and setting?
I gave it a 1.5.
I also gave it a 1.5.
Characters and development? I gave it a 1.5.
I also gave it a 1.5. Hey, we're tied up so far.
Nice, man.
How'd you feel about that art and animation?
I gave it a 1.5. I
gave it a 1 there.
I like it was fine. I like that geometry, dude. I don't know. I like the callbacks to Ghost in the Shell and Neon.
Sure.
I thought that was cool. Soundtrack.
What do you think?
I gave it a 1.5.
I gave it a 1 on that one. It was.
I like the inside average music.
Yeah, it was fine.
And that Je ne sais quoi.
How'd you feel?
I gave it a 1.5.
Straight up goose egg, my dude. I can't.
You goose egged it?
I can't. It was just so hard.
Damn,
it was so
son.
hard to watch, dude. Straight up 0 on that one from Brandon. I'm sorry.
That leaves me with 7.5 points. It's an Animos definitely for me.
That puts me at 5, baby.
Nice.
That's an Animaby.
Animaby. So and like you can dock some points for mine if I don't know if you've never dealt. I think some of it was because I have dealt with some of these issues.
Yeah,
that are brought up in here.
No, I mean there were several moments that I found relatable.
If you don't like looking at something painful, then take a couple points off. Put it at an anime. It's not for me, baby.
It's not for me. But like specifically, I'll tell you the one part I identified most with, which isn't even like all that awkward, is again in that episode where it's raining and she's in the. I actually saw like a clip of this before and thought, haha, that me. And then I realized it was from this show, and I was like, oh, that is me. She goes downstairs. She's about to leave school, and she's standing there next to her locker. She says, wait a minute. I left my umbrella here. Did someone really steal my umbrella? When it's raining this hard? I will burn this motherfucker down. I can't believe someone would take... Oh, wait, I left it over there. And then she goes and gets it.
Yeah.
There you go. Literally me. Like, and that's not even awkward. Yeah. It's just like, that's Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon will over the fuck react and then be like, oh, wait, no, I'm an idiot.
I love it, dude. I freaking love it. Now, I guess we'll start exiting our way out of here into the ramble. We haven't decided what we're watching next week, so we'll have it decided, and it'll be playing above.
We'll have a little note for it, yeah. But, yeah, man, overall, okay show.
Yeah.
If you can't deal with the cringy stuff, avoid this one.
Yeah, if you can, or you've ever experienced
like, I don't know who I could recommend
and
this
stuff
to.
like that.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
I really don't know who I could recommend this to unless they were in a very specific like raunchy anime / The Office crossover.
Yeah,
and even then, it's got to be cringier than that, dude. It was rough for baby. But that's about it for the review, right?
Excellent suggestion from Josh.
Yeah, man, really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. So whatever we're doing next week is playing above by now.
Check out all the links in the doodad
Check it out in the description. Links in the description below.
I'm gonna remember that one day. We're just gonna keep calling it the doodad.
Please subscribe to the channel. We're on Rapid Kick Media. That's the main channel where everything is hosted. We do all sorts of video game stuff, all sorts of anime stuff.
Smash that
wrestling stuff. If you like any of that, hit that subscription bell. Be notified when we put something up. Leave us a comment. Please leave us a comment, questions,
tell us how
anything
thought.
like that.
Yeah,
let us know what you thought. I love getting on the day after these go up and stuff. I see all the comments and I can start replying to people. It's awesome. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you good buddies next time. Goodbye.
Later.